Ken, what do you make of what's happening at the minute? I mean, look, you've been there before. You've seen all this before. What's happening now?
I haven't seen it as bad as it has been this year. There was a spike back in 2008, which was pretty horrendous. But this year seems like it doesn't bode well for us for the rest of the year. But what I see happening here is it's a combination of things. First of all, these young men has no fear. They have no fear about the police stopping them and the police actually confronting them and finding anything on them. Even though they put it down to stop and search, but stop and search was never designed to find knives. So let's not go and.
So what are you saying? Stop and search was designed to let them think there was a chance that they could be caught, so don't carry them in the first place.
No, stop and search has shown them that they're more likely to be stopped and searched because the police smell marijuana,
right,
rather than they smell a knife, because they can't smell a knife.
Okay.
And so therefore, what these youngsters have done, they've got other ingenious ways of actually carrying their weapons or giving it to other fallible young people to hold for them,
to ferry them about.
That's what it's all about. And then when they need it, just to bring it to them so they can use it to apply their evil trade. But what I find in this, these young men also believe that they're much more fearful of being caught without their knife by what they call their opponents than being caught with a knife by the police. Because to be caught with a knife by the police is a slap in the wrist. To be caught without a knife by your opponent could be death. So this is where we're at. So if we want to make any imprint on this violence, we have to start changing the mindset of these young men. Now the police quite clearly said, the one in Lewisham, the commander in Lewisham said that you can't arrest his way or enforce his way on stop and search out of this madness, and it has to come from the community. And he's right. It has to come from that community that is disproportionately being affected by the knife crime, and that is the black community here in London. And I'm saying quite simply that we need to be given the support and the resources to actually bring about this different. Now, when I look at the figures and seeing that we spend between 40 and 50 million pounds, and that's reported on the scheme called Prevent, which is to stop a young Muslim being radicalised. Since 2003, every year they're spending 40 to 50 million pounds. And then when I look at the paltry sum that they're spending on knife crime since that same period, between say 4 and 5 million pounds a year, it does not equate. We've got more people dying from knife crime than we are from the event, from terror. But no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you must take away from the terror. All I'm saying, you must match it with the what we've got here. And simply speaking, we've got so many good grassroots groups, because I'm fortunate. I put in 12 applications. I've got the first one only last week. I've managed to get some money from MOPAC, seed money to do a pilot project to reduce knife crime here in Haringey. But we are fighting over such a small pot that it really beggars belief that we need to widen that pot so that we can then have that join up thinking, because people are working in isolation, in small pockets, doing wonderful work, but we need to bring it together.
Okay, hear what you're saying, Sarah.
Ken, we've had somebody on this show before, and he's working with young people regarding knife crime. I mentioned the fact that actually this was a major problem, primarily in the black community. But it's very difficult to say that when you're not of that colour, of that culture, because people say, well, that's a racist thing to say. Is it a racist thing to say? And if there is a problem, why is there a problem? Where does it stem from? Look,
there's a problem specifically in London between disproportionately black. I can't speak for out of London and what happens there. So I'm sure that because we probably congregate more than London than anywhere else. And you're saying that why is that happening? It's quite simply that what has materialised over the last 40 years is a barrier between the black community and the police. And what I can put that down to, the way that they have actually focused stop and search, right? Now we're wondering, why is it that we are more, like 8 times more likely to be stopped and searched as a black man than a white man in the capital? And this has been going on for the last 30, 40 years. And it has...
Well, we can all answer that.
How's that?
Yeah, because that's where the action's happening.
And not necessarily. It doesn't. Because what I'm trying to say is very few. It's a minority. I would say less than 1% of the people.
Young black men stabbing, shooting, killing other young black men.
Yeah, because the simple reason you're finding it's reached this stage here now is because they have got no faith in the British criminal justice system and less faith in the police. Now, if we were able to get more young black men into the police force, then they may see people like themselves who may take... Because don't forget, it's 25 years... This is 25 years since Stephen Lawrence had died. And don't forget, the police inept investigation played a big part in that. 25 years later on, we are saying the police are still not investigating black deaths as any others.
Gangs, you haven't mentioned those two words. Drugs, gangs. Surely they're carrying knives because of that, not because of stop and search.
No, they're not carrying.
It's about more than that.
It's not. And you also got to look
territory.
You also got to look at the drill music, the certain type of music that's being bantered out there, that's goating people out. If your family member have got murdered, and then you've got people out there on YouTube goating and saying
it's war.
It's like it's gonna really hurt you where it hurts.
Yes,
where
but
it
then
matters.
You're just answering your own question. Young black men against young black men.
Well, look, when we're talking about, you're talking about 20, 30, 40 deaths a year.
Yeah.
It's in the substance of everything else. One death is too many.
Yes.
But what I'm saying to you, just because you got that, stop and search will show you that 80% of those stop and search leads to no further action. So that's 8 out of 10 leads to no further action. And 2 out of 10 leads to some sort of action.
Do you know what the most important thing that happened over the past few days as regards maybe solving all of this? Donald Trump saying London was a war zone. Donald Trump saying the hospitals can't cope with what's going on there. Because when you make London a political embarrassment and a tourist embarrassment and a commercial embarrassment around the world, the authorities won't like that. They might start spending some money and increasing that pot that you're looking for.
But Eamonn, that's only one part of it. The other part of it is the engagement that the community is having with the police or not having with the police. Over the last 20, 30 years, it's been a tick box exercise. We haven't had that real meaningful dialogue with the police, because we're saying to the police, we want to work with you, work with us to help us get on top of this. But when you are just playing lip service to the to whatever's going on here, that you're spouting to give Theresa May a bloody nose because of what she's done about reducing the numbers and also holding them to account on the stop and search, which is a good thing, because beforehand we had 1.2 million people being stopped and searched. Now it's down to 300,000, right? And so
and crime's going up.
Well, not
is that a good thing?
Well, not because of that, because it was never designed.
How do you know it's because of that?
Well, less than 4% of their stop and search were forever for knives and guns. Now we want something that's better to do that, because look, I'm with the Band of Brothers, and just simply put this down to you. As a Band of Brothers, in the last 8 months, we've got 6 young men to give up their knives, and you know what? They're unlikely to pick another knife up. Unlike if you got stopped and searched.
Because of your work.
Because of the work. And that's what it's all about.
Well, I'll tell you,
changing the mindset.
I wouldn't carry a knife or a gun if I thought I was going to be stopped by a police officer. That would be a big thing for me, a big deterrent as well. But we've talked about this before, Ken. Really appreciate. Good luck with your work and that pot that you're fighting for. I hope it gets bigger. Ken Hines, a former Operation Trident gang mediator. Here's Kate with the news update.